Good morning, or whatever moment you're listening to from. And welcome to the Early Learning Lounge, your Monday morning reframe. I'm your host, Tammy Nucci, and wherever you're listening from today, whether you're on your commute, opening your classroom, easing into a quiet Sunday evening, or taking a moment just for yourself, which I highly encourage, I'm really glad you're here. Before we begin, I want to tell you a story about leadership, and a moment that forever reshaped how I understand it. Once upon a time, I worked in a childcare center as a supervisor, supporting a very, very large team of educators. This chapter of my career is one I value most, not because it was easy, but because it's where I learned the most. I hold a master's degree in leadership, but nothing, and I mean nothing, taught me more than the educators, family, and children I walked alongside during this time. The center served two very different programs. One supported children with significant trauma, and the other was a transitional program designed to help those children eventually enter a more typical classroom setting. But here's the part that mattered most. That program was located directly beside one of our preschool classrooms. So our youngest learners witnessed things most people wouldn't expect: emotional outbursts, property damage, lockdowns, moments of chaos that felt overwhelming for everyone involved. And I'll be honest, at that time, my instinct was protection. This didn't feel safe. It wasn't good for business, and parents made sure I knew it. So I went searching for ways to have the program relocated. I share this part openly because leadership isn't about pretending we are always right and that we have to get things right. And I am not proud of that instinct. After exhausting every option, I learned the program wasn't going to go anywhere. And that was when Plan A ended. On my drive in one morning, I felt depleted, defeated, stuck in a loop of now what? And then another weight settled in. How was I going to explain this to my educators? Or better yet, the community at large, my families? And then something shifted. If we couldn't relocate this program, we needed to embrace it. That moment taught me my very first lesson in leadership. Because let me be clear, leadership isn't about removing discomfort, it's about guiding people through it. This wasn't about their kids and our kids, they were all our kids. So I brought my team together and we talked honestly. We named the fear, we explored possibilities. This wasn't a solo decision, and it had to be done in unison. And while there was hesitation, the team leaned in. They trusted me. And more importantly, they trusted themselves. Then there was a child. One boy in the program held incredible influence over his peers. Most days, that influence showed up as disruption. Adults often referred to him as the ringleader. But here's the reframe: he wasn't a ringleader, he was a leader without direction. And that became the second lesson. Leadership potential often shows up before skills or regulation do. We noticed something important. He was gentle with the younger children. He smiled at them. He had what I can only describe as soft eyes when he saw them. So we asked a question that felt risky, and I mean risky. What if he came and read to our preschoolers? The adults were far more nervous than the children. When we asked him, he said yes, and then quietly admitted that he couldn't. Reading was hard. It triggered shame, frustration, and fear of failure. So we didn't push. We offered practice, we offered time, and most importantly, we offered belief. And that became the third lesson. Belonging often comes before behavior changes. When he experienced reading, it wasn't about performance, it was about purpose. He called the preschoolers his babies, and suddenly reading wasn't about being behind, it was about contributing. A few weeks later, he told us that he was ready. He chose a book, and maybe you've all heard of it, called Have You Filled a Bucket Today? This is a story about kindness and compassion and filling someone else's heart. The children sat on the carpet buzzing with excitement. The adults were tense. He sat down, he opened the book, and he read the entire thing, start to finish. The children leaned in, they smiled, and they listened. There wasn't a dry eye among the adults. We saw confidence where we had once seen fear. We saw leadership where we had once seen disruption. And that day, that moment, it brought the final lesson home. Leadership is seeing possibility where others see risk. Not long after, I moved on to a new role. Before I left, I received a letter from the educators, a reminder that nothing is impossible. That letter has been framed in my office ever since. Because it doesn't just hold words, it holds a village, a boy, a book, and a room full of people who chose courage. And this is my definition of leadership. Not power, not position, not control. Leadership is believing in people before they believe in themselves. It's choosing compassion over convenience. It's building spaces where everyone belongs. And sometimes it begins with a boy, a book, and a village willing to see what's possible. Before I go, I want to extend a gentle invitation. If these stories resonate with you, you can follow me on social media at Tammy Nucci, Speaker Coach, where I continue sharing reflections, leadership lessons, and moments from this work. And if you're craving even deeper connection, I'd love to invite you into our school community, the Early Learning Lounge Hub, where we spend more time together as a community, reflecting, learning, and supporting one another. You can find us at skool.com. That is spelled SKOOL.com, inside the Early Learning Lounge Hub. Because this work was never meant to be done alone, and neither were we. And as always, because the hustle is real, the grind is constant, but the heart, your heart, is what makes it all matter. Until next time, keep leading with grit, hustle, and heart, and don't forget to refill your cup.